Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sharday and I create content on all things glowing up, all things leveling up. That includes the mental, the physical, and the spiritual. And if you guys couldn't tell by my content, spirituality is my favorite thing in the world. So I do include a lot of spirituality topics on this channel. But today we are going to be talking about the pros and cons. Hold up, my bad, y'all. Hit subscribe if you have not already subscribed. If you're a returning person to this channel, why haven't you subscribed yet? Like, hit subscribe, hit the post notification bell so you know every time that I post. I do post on a schedule. I post every Monday and Thursday around 2 p.m. Mountain Time and around 4 p.m. Central Time. I'm not sure of, you know, the rest of the world, the times, but I can get that figured out for you guys. So anyways, today's video is going to be about moving across the country during your level up journey, the pros and cons, some of the things that I thought were important to talk about, and yeah, let's get into it. So let's start with the pros. And I have a list here, so bear with me. So if you guys don't know, I am from Illinois. I was born and raised there, and I pretty much spent the majority of my life there. I went to school for a year in Iowa, and then I went back home. So, and then I stayed there until I was about 21 until I moved to Arizona. Now, let's talk about the obvious. So with Illinois, of course, there's 4 seasons. You have snow, a little bit of snow, melted snow. Okay, maybe there's 5 seasons. Icy snow. No, I'm just playing, y'all. So you have spring, fall, winter, summer. Okay, so summer is pretty much like humid. It's usually like mid 80s. It rarely gets to the 90s, but it's pretty humid. Then once you get into fall, which is one of my favorite seasons, is when it starts to cool down just a little bit. It's hoodie season, the leaves start to change, it's beautiful. Football season, all of that good stuff, apple cider, blah, blah, blah. Then you move on to the majority of the weather, which is winter, where it gets very extremely cold, and it'll stay cold until about March, April, May-ish. And it's still kind of cold in May. It's probably like 65, creeping its way up to like 70s in May. 70, 75 in May. So it's pretty much cold a majority of the time, and that is pretty much for the entire Midwest. If you are in the Midwest area, you know what I'm talking about. You know what it is to deal with that stuff. So here in Arizona, though, the weather is not as beautiful as you may think. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty much summer here. I would say 250 days out of the year, it's pretty much always sunny. You get maybe 2 seasons, which I'm gonna get into the cons in a minute. So you get maybe 2 seasons, which is summer and which is like cool. So it's kind of like 2 extremes. So here the summers are like 100 plus every day. 100 plus every day. Like, you'll be lucky if it's 100. It does creep up to 120 degrees, y'all. But the nice thing about Arizona weather is that it is dry heat, so you don't feel sticky while you're out. You just feel extremely hot. So another pro that I wanted to talk about is more opportunities, you guys. There are so many opportunities in other places other than the Midwest. The Midwest is kind of like a rural kind of feel, so there's not a lot of development. It's not a lot of new stuff going up. Here in Arizona, there are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities for jobs because there's a lot of building here. There's a lot of population going on here. A lot of people from California are moving here. A lot of people from different states. Like, I haven't met one person here that I've really like connected to that is actually from here. They're usually from Texas, they're usually from California, they're usually from the Midwest. And so yeah, that's pretty much like the bulk, maybe a little bit of Texas too. That's pretty much like the bulk of who's here. And The buildings are beautiful, y'all. Even the McDonald's looks brand new and looks like it was built with beautiful brick and whatever. Everyone drives a nice car. It looks nice. It does lack greenery though. We have palm trees, we have a lot, but it's desert, so it's not as green as the Midwest, which I do miss. But it's pretty much a lot of new builds, a lot of new development, and that includes from all the way from fast foods all the way to housing. So that is a big pro for me. Another pro for me is a different culture. And when I say culture, I'm not referring to culture in regards to color or race. I mean culture as in people working out and people wanting to be healthy and people wanting to go on hikes and people wanting to do outdoorsy things and go to Grand Canyon, and you know, people are really serious about their education here. The culture here is very leveling up, prosperity, doing things, you know, just having like an overall bright, healthy kind of vibe. Lots of nice gyms here, things like that. So I really do like that aspect of the culture. And it's really, really a really great place for healthcare. If you guys don't know, Arizona has been considered a retirement state, so there are a lot of opportunities for healthcare, you guys. If you are a healthcare professional and you're thinking about moving here, it would be a great idea. We have so many hospitals just in the valley alone, just in Phoenix alone. We have hospitals, we have so many hospice companies, we have home health companies. There is a lot of money in healthcare here, you guys. So another pro of moving across country is that them survival instincts do kick in when you kind of get into the mentality of not having a backbone or a plan B, so to speak, and you just gotta sink or swim. That swim kind of activates and you just kind of get into your own groove, into your own environment when you move across country. I think it's a really good idea for somebody who's just trying to develop their own life and finally find their own footing and do their own thing. The different scenery, guys, is another pro that I absolutely love. I love palm trees, okay? I love palm trees. Okay? Now my boyfriend's a little different. He grew up in California where there's palm trees everywhere, so it just don't do it the same for him. But I grew up with a whole bunch of corn around me, a whole bunch of flat land, a whole bunch of just not cuteness. I'm sorry if you love corn and all that other stuff, but it just wasn't my vibe. My vibe is more so palm trees. It's more so vacation vibe. There are pools everywhere here, you guys, and it has to be. I mean, it's so hot here. No matter what apartment you go to, no matter what home you potentially buy, well, I'm not gonna say that, but a majority of the homes that if you were looking to buy property here, have pools. Everyone has a pool. Everyone has a pool, so it's that kind of vibe where you can just go outside and sit by the pool on any given day of the year and do whatever you want out there. Invite friends over for a cookout, study out there. I study a lot by the pool, edit my videos by the pool, relax in the pool. Like it's just beautiful scenery overall. Okay, you guys, so one thing that I did mention is that you're away from familiar negativity. And what I mean from that is that sometimes when we stay in the same place for a long time, we can get so embedded and so kind of like blinded by a toxic environment or just by negativity in general. I think when you do decide to move away and start with new people and new scenery and a new place and a new job and things like that, you can kind of have a fresh start and control what's coming into your energy. So I think it's really cool that when you start somewhere new and you change and you're going with a changed mindset, okay? Because my mom and I were talking about this the other day. You have to be mindful. If you're going to leave a place and come to another place with the exact same mindset, you're going to attract the exact same thing. So when you're changing your mindset and when you decide to move somewhere, it can be totally life-changing, you guys. Okay, so this is a very, very, very big point for me. Less distractions. Okay, less distractions. So even though when I came to Arizona, it was for a goal. I had a life plan, so to speak. It wasn't super detailed, but of course, you know, it had to do with school, it had to do with career goals, it had to do with building a life here. So one thing that's super important when you're setting goals and when you're trying to create a different life is eliminating distractions. And honestly, moving across country, there's like no distractions. There's no familiar faces around. There's no familiar drama around, because you're all the way over here. Like, there's really no reason for you to be in drama at home, in your hometown or whatever. So there are a lot less distractions for you to really actually make your footing and just cover ground, you know what I mean? Just really focus and grind and do what you have to do, and for it to be effective, because there really aren't that many distractions here. And I want to elaborate on that. There are less distractions if you allow there to be less distractions. Now, if you're going somewhere where there's a huge party scene, where there's just so much to do, where you already know somebody that's there, that is your choice. But you can choose to do something different in a new environment to make it the way that you want it to. I don't want to say that there will be less distractions wherever you move. That's not true. There will be less distractions if you choose for it to be that way. Okay, so a cool pro is that family and friends have a new place to visit, which is really cool. I've had quite a few family members come to visit in this area, and it's just somewhere to get away from, where you don't have to worry about hotels, and you don't have to worry about this, and you don't have to worry about that. It's really cool that, you know, you can have an escape, you know, both ways if you want to. That I think that that's super cool, to have family members in different states that you can go visit and just to get away and relax a little while. I think a cool thing about moving across the country is it's showing you that you can adapt, that you can adjust, that you can do this. Like, you can make major moves and it can work out for you. I think that that's one of the coolest things about moving across country. It kind of activates that I can do this mentality. So I think that that's one of the major pros of moving across the country and starting fresh. My last pro, you guys, is going to be out of sight, out of mind. And that includes family drama, friend drama, stuff that you literally cannot control because you are in another state. Out of sight, out of mind. If you're not seeing the toxicity, if you're not in the toxicity, if you're not looking at, you know, if you're in a town where there's been no change, you're not looking at that every day, you know, you're having something new. I think it's so important to change what your eyes see as well, which is why it's so cool to move to a different state, to get that new experience, to start having new desires. Okay guys, let's move into cons. My biggest con, and the reason why Arizona is home but it doesn't feel like it's complete, is my family is missing from it. So that is one of the biggest cons. I mean, and it's probably one of the most obvious things, and a reason why a lot of people don't make that big leap is because my family is still in the Midwest, and that has been really hard. And behind closed doors, it's been even harder for me, even though I don't express that, even though I don't share my feelings all the time as far as me being homesick or me missing my family and things like that. But it has been the hardest part about it, because even though you still try to keep your relationships and stuff like that, it's just not the same as being close to your family. It's just not the same as just driving to your family. It's just whenever or when you feel like it, or for a barbecue or something like that. It's just not the same. Y'all, the holidays. starting new traditions. Now, that's a big con for me because I don't feel like all traditions should be changed and everything should just be changed and whatever. Some traditions are super beautiful. Some traditions are wonderful and what keeps your family your family. So I do feel like that lack of tradition in another state is really like sad. Like I don't necessarily get as excited for holidays as I once did. Like I get excited for certain things, like I love buying gifts and stuff like that, but it's not like, oh my god, like I'm so excited to see my family, or we about to cut up and we about to dance and we about to just enjoy ourselves. Me and my cousin's about to sneak off real quick. Like it's not the same. So I just feel like that is a major con. And now I'm gonna move into the next con because it does kind of flow with that, is that it's very expensive to see your family. It's very expensive to see your family. The only time that it wasn't, well, okay, so it's kind of hard. Okay, let me see how these tickets work. The tickets are kind of flipped. So if I wanted to go to Chicago during the summer when it's nice, that's when it's the absolute most expensive, and that's when I have free time, right? Because I'm in school, which is a downfall because I can't just get up and go and travel and do whatever, because not only is my time tied to my education, but all of my money is literally tied into my education. So that's very difficult, that I have to always prioritize and think ahead and think for the future. I can't just be frivolous with my travels, which is unfortunate, but one day I'm going to be able to just visit my family whenever. But okay, so summer is the most expensive there, and summer here I believe is cheaper because it's so hot. So it's flipped. So and then the holidays, y'all know how the holiday prices be with the flights. So it's like they make the holidays super expensive just in general, then they make it even more expensive to see your family, then they make it even more expensive to, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's a major con from moving across the country, is the expense to go see your friends and family at home. Y'all, the culture is not the same, okay? If you are from the Midwest, if you are from the Chicago area, Illinois, whatever, appreciate the food, y'all. Appreciate the food, appreciate the culture, appreciate the buildings and the history and the beauty behind them. Appreciate, okay, y'all, I've traveled, right? I can tell you that I have yet to see a city as beautiful as Chicago. I have yet to taste food as better than Chicago's food. I have yet to feel a vibe, an environment, an atmosphere better than Chicago. And when you're there, you just don't realize that. But when you go other places, you're like, dang, they really don't have much on Chicago. Like even LA ain't all that to me, y'all, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Ain't nothing really touching Chicago, and that's on period. So yeah, the food ain't hitting here in Arizona. The culture ain't really hitting here in Arizona. I mean, I'm a loner kind of like in general, so I just, you know, I do things with my family, my mom, my boyfriend and stuff like that. But as far as like, even down to like people saying, oh, hello, how are you? It's not the same in other places. And especially here where it's such a melting pot with different states and different cultures and environments, people don't mesh well together, if that makes sense. Like if you're in Illinois, most of the people were born there and most of the people die there. So we all have a similar mannerism about us, right? We say hello, how you doing? We, you know, we're respectful, things like that. Here, where there's a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of different cultures and a whole bunch of whatever coming together, it's not the same with mannerisms, if that makes sense. Okay, y'all, another con that I want to talk about, which I don't feel like a lot of people talk about, is when you're in a place where you don't have family, sometimes it can be forced for friends to become like family, and you just kind of make things happen and make traditions and whatever. I want you guys to be super mindful of that, because really there's nothing like family. As much as we go through whatever in family. There's really nothing like family. And when you try to make something like family, it's not the same. And I'm just gonna leave that on that. I wanna mention school because I think that's super important. If you're a person that's trying to pursue an education or pursue some type of career and you're moving from a different state to another state, be mindful of the different requirements, you guys. And I know that applies to any school, but also career-wise, there are different requirements in each state. So let me give you an example. For nursing, Illinois' scope of practice for nursing is different from Arizona's scope of practice for nursing. Therefore, the requirements to get into the program will be different, and also the education will be different, and the way that they do things will be different. So just be mindful of the differences in career. Another example would be, in some states you need a doctorate to be a nurse practitioner, and here in Arizona they're changing that law. It's going to be doctorate soon, but it's you need a master's for that. So just kind of really do your homework and really do your research if you're trying to pursue something in a different state, you guys. Okay guys, I want to talk about the cost of living. It is completely different than Midwest, okay? Southern cost of living, California, Arizona, we ain't going to include Texas because Texas is cheap. Different places like that, it's expensive here. It's expensive here, you guys. I'm not going to get into numbers, but just know what I pay here for an apartment. I probably could have had like a 4-bedroom house, like a really nice, beautiful house in Illinois for what I pay here. So that's just something to consider. You do pay for the experience pretty much. So that's just something to be mindful of. Lastly, for the cons, I want to say that you have to find your place with everything. So when you're somewhere where you're comfortable, where you know where everything is, you know where all the restaurants are, you know how to get to places, you don't need a GPS, you know what stores are around, you know what to expect, right? You know transportation, you know routes, you know all of this stuff when you're in a familiar place. But when you come to a new place, you don't know what your favorite restaurant is, you don't know what your favorite shopping mall is, you don't know where to find certain things. So it's just such like a process, a trial and error, which can be frustrating when you're in a new place. Like you have to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until you finally find your groove, so you finally find the things that, you know, go with who you are as a person. That includes friends, that includes places that you like to go to eat, to brunch, to whatever, go grab a drink, your favorite sports bar, I don't know, your favorite mall, your favorite, you know, finding a job that fits your mannerisms and culture, just everything. So just be patient when you move somewhere new, and just know that it's going to take time for you to fully adjust. And for me personally, I'm still not fully adjusted, you guys. I've been here for 4 years and I'm still finding my place. I'm still finding the crowd that I want to be around. I'm still finding things very slowly, because when you're in grind mode, you don't really have like a ton of free time to just go out and about and just discover and just do all of this other stuff. Like, yes, I have time, but I'm working full-time, I'm going to school full-time. If I'm not in school, I'm trying to figure out what I need to do, what I need to save, you know what I'm saying? So I haven't really had the opportunity to fully just go out there and just find everything that's of me. So just be patient, especially if you're in a position where you're working, where you're trying to pursue a career, where you're trying to find a new job, where you're trying to find an apartment, you're trying to build your apartment, you're trying to put stuff in it, you're trying to buy the pots and the pans and the forks in it. Like, everything is such a process, you guys. Just be patient with yourself and just know that as you build and as you go along, things will start to come together slowly but surely. And yeah, and I also want to say, that you moved for a reason, whatever the reason may be, whatever the cause may be. Remember that reason. If you moved away because it was just a toxic environment, because you had seasonal depression 2 times a year, because of whatever, leave that behind. Start fresh, start new, build the life that you want, and of course always keep God first in everything, you guys, in everything. I can't stress that enough. When I started putting God first, things started to definitely fall into place for me. Do what you can mentally, physically, and spiritually for your loved ones back at home. Do what you can within the limits that you can. It takes a lot to be by yourself, to build a new life, to establish a new setting and everything. So do what you can, don't overstress it, and just adapt and adjust. And you guys, that was my pros and cons list of moving across the country, and for me personally, from Illinois to Arizona. Thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with me, supporting with me. The channel is growing. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. This community is so awesome. You guys are so positive. You guys are so encouraging. And you guys just keep me going, y'all. The days that I'm tired, y'all keep me going. The days that I don't feel like it, y'all keep me going. So I just want to always keep y'all going as well, and do my part on my end to encourage you all to continue to glow up, continue to have an elevated mindset. And yes, I am Sharday. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm just playing. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video and leave me a comment down below, y'all. Are y'all thinking of moving anywhere? Are y'all thinking of moving to Atlanta, where everybody wants to move? Are y'all thinking of moving to DC? Are y'all thinking of moving to Los Angeles? And why are you thinking about moving? Like, what's there that is like alluring you to that place? So yes, leave me a comment down below, you guys. And of course, I love you. Be blessed. Stay up. And I will see you in my next video. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is about me and like peace signs now. I just be like peace. But anyways, you guys, I will see you guys later. I'll talk to you later.